Hello and welcome to the third installment of Dark Philosophy. I, of course, am your primary host, Corey, of the Sir Talks a Lot channel. Joining me is my usual co-host, Germ404, otherwise known as Jeremy,
Yeah, sorry.
and our kick-ass rockin' guest on the bottom, SupremeHeretic, Drew. Beware the Drew, the big dong himself. What's up, bro? How you guys doing tonight?
I'm fine, man. I'm just in process of chilling like a villain at
Hell
the
yeah.
moment. So, you know.
I feel that. I feel that.
Right.
How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good, man. I just got off of work a little bit ago, ate dinner.
Yeah. Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. So we'll say hi to our one and amazing chat participant right now, Omega Star Productions. He says, hello there, one and all. Oh, and our second place, Lasso of Truth. Second place in the chat, but never in our hearts, of course.
Lasso.
Hello, Lasso Trina. Wonderful to see you in our chat. We
Mhm.
can see about having you on sometime, maybe. I say that a lot, but we'll see. And then we've got Ruben Christopher Haynes. I am here. I am an organic AI. Yes. Much like Google's, which is now sentient. So, yay us.
We're all
Anyway.
gonna die.
So we do have an awesome show planned tonight. I do anyway. I hope it's going to go off without a hitch. But we'll see how it goes. At the end of this show, of course, there will be the viewers' votes section where you guys, the chat, get to choose the topics that the next guest gets to choose from next week, who I haven't chosen as a guest yet. So I'm not good at explaining things. Yeah, let's go with that. Hail Sean Estep. Happy to see you. So yes, the chat will vote at the end, and we will choose the topics for next week that way. Omega
Yep.
Star says, Jeremy without a hat. Oh, indeed,
Yeah, it's
indeed.
my normal head of hair here. Yep.
So, shall we see our topics for the evening? Our three topics of choice tonight are existence, lying, and sin.
Well, I am going with the middle topic.
Gonna go with lying. All right. You'd
I'm
think I'd
8
be
feet
more
tall
prepared.
with a 12-inch cock.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest lie you've ever heard.
People lie every day. Small white lies to carry us through everyday life, and dark lies to shade the world from our true selves. Even though it seems natural for humanity, what are the actual impacts of lies?
And there's the starting point. So I would like to hand it off to our guest first. What are your thoughts on the impacts of lying in modern society?
Well, if we're taking it to the current existential situation around the world, um, a lie can change the very path of humanity. So, a lie can be a very powerful thing. Obviously, we talk a lot on my channel about waking people up. We talk a lot on Comics Division's channel about waking people up. And there's a reason for that, because a lie has been perpetuated, on us as a society, as a people for decades, that, that we need to be governed harder. Govern me harder, daddy. We that we
Choke
need
that yoke.
that we need to be led instead of having the autonomy to understand, what's good for ourselves as individuals. That we need to belong to a collective, which is, a falsehood on all levels. But that has been reinforced time and again. The insistence on making people dependent on government. You have to depend on us. We will save you from yourselves.
This is a very, very true statement. But I'm going to stray away from the government political talk real quick and ask, what do you think? I'm going to direct this one at Jeremy, and Drew, you can chime in. What do you think the most damaging level of lying is? Do you think it's interpersonal, or do you think it's broader societal lies that actually hurt more?
Well, I imagine it would depend on the situation, but both can do incredible damage. Interpersonal obviously can affect your personal relationships and your friendships and stuff like that, family life at a very detrimental level. And then societal, I mean, just, freest and fairest election of all time. So I'll just leave it at that. I think they're both pretty bad, to be honest. It's just how big of a scale is it on?
I would say the societal lie, just over a hair over interpersonal.
Yeah, I think I honestly agree with that. Yeah. I mean, personally, I think lying in general is kind of a dick move anyway.
Yeah, because you can lead an entire society to ruin.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's one golden rule in life, and that's don't be a dick. So teaches you something about lying on that point. Are there any lies that you guys feel are actually necessary?
There are times when when somebody is so bad off or so much in crisis that the art of the noble lie may be required. And no one likes to lie, but there's oftentimes, if there is a special circumstance that is required for such, a person could easily find that they may have to, and that is the art of, quote, the noble lie. So it's a very very interesting concept. I don't know if you've ever read up on the concept.
I have heard of the concept of the
lie.
noble lie. I have indeed.
I have not.
So a noble lie is typically told to protect people or to salvage a situation or have a positive influence because of the lie, because the truth might hurt too much. It's something that they pushed in the psychological world a lot, and something that I was never really comfortable with was, don't attack the big issues right off the bat, because there's a lot of times where it's just too much. So you lie your way around it a little bit. And of course they used fancy terms, but the, plain simple terms of it is you fuck around the bush until all of a sudden you can get to those salient issues without hurting their fifis. Mm-hmm. And,
but I think we've all
preferred the direct approach.
I think we've all experienced that, with people that lie, that like a lie leads to another lie, leads to another lie. And then you just got to compound lies with more lies. And
lying. Okay, I'll posit this. Lying is an addictive behavior. Yes or no?
Yes, it is. It can be for a lot of people. I live by a certain motto, and that is, and it especially became one that I took on very seriously after I lost a dear friend in a motorcycle accident. In his personal motto that he lived by, and at times he could be a bastard, but his motto was 100% as real as it gets. And I kind of took that as my mantra after his passing and said, I am going to dedicate every moment of my day to being the same way, 100% as real as it gets. And I've stuck by that. Now, we talked about the art of the noble lie, and that, some people could feel situations require that. But if you look at it in a fascinating manner, an example of a noble lie is the Great Reset. That could be considered by elites as a noble lie.
Well, yes, but delusions do not make truth. So
right. So it's just it's very interesting, that we discussed that concept. But I personally like to live by being 100% as real as it gets, because to me, it's like the old adage says, the truth will always set you free. So you might as well lead with the truth all the time.
Yes, I agree. 100% always
There's
lead
been
with the
plenty of
truth.
times where I've been told I'm too honest, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if there's any such thing.
Okay,
Just
but
because you don't like what I'm saying,
well,
you know?
you also no, you also have to remember that, something that I've lacked my entire life is tactful honesty. Sugarcoating and stuff. And people
No,
like that apparently. But I'm like, if I'm going to tell you you're a dick, I'm going to tell you you're a dick. I'm not going to be nice about it. Most people who I don't like know that I don't like them. Most people.
Mhm.
But that comes back to like the little white lies that we tell socially most of the time to make it seem like we're doing just fine and that we're cool, you
Mhm.
know.
well, wouldn't a
So
similar situation be like with your kids? You know, you're not going to
yeah.
tell them all the really bad shit that's going on. You just
Well,
want them
yes,
to be
that is
comfortable.
that
You
is
know,
an actual example of a noble lie is not telling your kids that you're about to go bankrupt.
right? Like you're about to
Or
lose the house or some crazy
yeah,
shit like that.
not stressing them out with certain
Yeah,
things. But the important thing to remember in that is that kids are intelligent, way more intelligent than we like to give them credit for, and they can always tell when something's wrong. So if they ask, you need to be honest. But that's where it comes between, there's lies of omission and lies of commission, where you fabricate something in a lie of commission. It used to be called
Mhm.
sins of commission, but we'll talk about that some other time. And then there's the lies of omission, where you leave out certain details. We've seen
Yeah.
this a lot. We've seen that in society. We've seen it in Hollywood. We've seen it in interpersonal relationships. Everyone's had that kind of relationship at one point with someone.
The lies of omission are probably the most common. Yes.
Yes. And people like to leave out details. So what is your typical policy, Drew? Let's just say your moral policy, if you will, on how much information you share uh, when someone asks you a question that you don't want to answer fully. Like, let's say I only give information that's particularly pertaining to the words used in said question.
If you ask me, if you unless you're asking me what my social security number is,
Not at all.
I'm going to be, transparent. I'm a pretty transparent guy.
Hello,
That's
lovely
why
Sherry.
the lovely Sherry. It's great to see you, honey. Um, I'm a very transparent guy. So, like, even for example, you know, um, because I'm sure that I had Mom's Memorial Fund going. Um, okay, so people may question, well, why is there a 20K goal, or why should I donate to this, or where does this guy, he's already made $6,200, where is it went? Well, I've readily shared as it's been happening, in real time, where the money's gone. And it's like, hey, it started off in a $4,000 hole. I paid it towards this. I've always offered to people, hey, if you want to see it itemized, be glad to show you the bills that I paid with it. So I'm always readily transparent with that. And now, there's a thing in we've talked offline, Corey, but in the case of my mom, and my God, everybody loves their mom, everybody loves their dad, to most times in a functional family relationship.
Well, yeah.
Um, um, even with my mom, and it was a lie of omission that she probably thought to protect me. But as we were talking about earlier, because I shared it in the United Resistance chat too. So the county today dropped me a gift. This sent me a $7,200 tax bill. Well, unbeknownst to me, $6,551 of that was delinquent. I never knew. And this was again either because my mom was in cognitive decline, and she just didn't get around to say anything about it or forgot to. But more likely, there was a noble lie there to protect me from all this so that I wouldn't stress about it and so that it wouldn't be present on my mind. But it only necessarily delayed the inevitable because, as most people know, the ever-present stress has been with me since the whole
Yeah.
ordeal has began. So, you know, so that would be an example, I guess, of what she thought was a noble lie, but
Right.
out of protection, out of maternal instinct.
Yeah. I could
But but
absolutely see that.
but in the end, it really was just as destructive. That
Well, and that's one of the things that I've learned throughout my life experiences is that even little lies can have incredibly destructive reach in ways that you never really thought of.
Mhm.
And I'm not about to spill my guts and drop some dark secrets on the internet. Sorry, people, but I've done some stupid shit in
Oh,
my
come
life.
on.
Nah,
Mhm.
you already know. You don't get a. You get to shut up
That's
too.
right. I know it
So
all.
you get to shut up too. I just said that.
Aw.
Gosh. But nah, like there's certain things we lie about to protect ourselves and protect other people. And if those lies ever came out, they would be damaging, no matter how small they are.
Mhm.
My wife used to get mad at me all the time when I was in my drunk phase, and I would lie about everything because I was a drunk, stupid ass. You know what I mean? One of those dumb guys that's all like, I'm going to break out in handcuffs when I take this drink. Sweet. Not a great time. But, she taught me that every little lie can potentially fuck your entire life up.
Mhm.
And so that honesty is the only real way to live your life.
It's better to be brutally honest than second guess yourself later over a lie.
Yep.
And that's and like I said, even equating the noble lie theory with my mom, it's not that I'm throwing my mom under the bus because
No, not at all.
I don't have any resentment toward her about it, because if I was in her shoes, I'd be damn tempted to not put that on my kid either, because you
For
don't want
sure.
to put that on your kid, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, this is information that had I known earlier on, I feel like, we could have gotten out in front of some of it.
Yeah, for sure. I can understand that. Yes.
So it was critical information
Mm-hmm.
not to know. But there is also a pride factor involved. And listen, we're not perfect as human beings. We all have pride. And even when you're in your golden years, your older years, no senior wants to think of themselves as helpless, even though largely they may be. They don't want to think that they can't do the mundane and everyday things like, pay bills or balance a checkbook or drive or, anything. And
Yeah.
when our senior parents or grandparents are, in a rough state, and they and they're fighting their pride to want to continue to do things for themselves, and then you have to step in and have that uncomfortable conversation. It's very, very hard. That's probably one of the hardest things, and I can tell you that firsthand from being a caregiver to not one but two senior parents, because I
Mm-hmm.
went through it with my dad at first, and my mom and I assisted in both and taking care of him. But I had to have those uncomfortable conversations at first with my dad. Dad, it's time to hang the keys up. You can't drive. Um, things like that. And trying to tell a very proud 30 plus year career military man that, you can imagine how hard that was. and
Yeah, for
then
sure.
and then even having that same conversation with my mother, that was hard.
Yeah. I know what you mean. My wife and I have actually been I love messing with the screen, I'm sorry. But my wife and I have actually been living caretakers for her family for the past it's been 7 years, I think, since we moved into this house all together. And at first it was her grandfather, her dad, and her mom. And then, of course, one by one, they dropped off according to health and, Darwin's laws. Not to be callous about it or anything. I'm just saying.
Cold motherfucker.
But, I've seen all levels of mental decline due to dementia, pseudo dementia, due to starvation and stuff like that, or malnutrition, not starvation. They're just like, they're not eating the right things, so their brain starts to break down apparently. And it's like, okay, now we got to get you on this focused diet and hope that you're not too many brain cells died, and then I've seen the decline from isolation, from deafness, where it causes a person's mind to partially break, especially as they get older and they become very afraid of the outside world and stuff like that. And keep in mind, this individual was not born deaf. They went deaf in their later life, like 40s or 50s. So it was a crippling experience for them. But, I've seen individuals go through these kinds of breaks and stuff. And a lot of them seem like they lie a lot. And it's because they misremember how things actually went or what's actually going on in the world. And that's a special case where the lying is something that you have to kind of either tolerate or know how to deal with in an effective manner. And when it comes to the elderly and whether they want to protect us or whether they're forgetful and stuff, we have to give them an extra bit of forgiveness on their mental slippage. If they're douchebags, I don't give them any room, of course. But, not saying your mom was
and
a
I always
douchebag.
take that into account with senior citizens, especially, because you have to, because, later in life, when you have issues that put you in a cognitive decline and things like that, it's very hard to maintain any sort of normality, so I understand, and the other interesting thing about lies, while we're at it, lies. So let's shift the conversation a bit. Let's talk about lies on the internet, shall we? So there's
a lot of lies on the internet.
Yeah, like a place where anybody can come up with anything.
So there are the lies of catfishing, where and we've all at some point.
My name's Rhonda. I'm 24.
There's the times we've seen that happen. I've experienced it. I met a gal that online that we were an online couple for like well over a year, and then I went out to meet her, and she lived in Oregon, and she was about 50 pounds heavier, and not the same picture, but she was still very, very attractive. I'll give her that. But then, again, it wasn't just a catfish thing. It was when I actually physically hung out with her. The lies compounded after that, because she's like, "Oh, I really like you." I was like, "Well, I really like you too." We had a great time while I was there. And then when I came home, it wasn't even so much as a week or two later that I caught her in a lie. And then she admitted, "Oh, well, I like you, but I slept with someone from work."
Peace.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a kick it to the curb situation.
So I did. But that was the thing. So that was a situation where I forgave the catfishing lie, but the other one compounded just into, well, PC later. But this is the example of lies on the internet. But there's also the ones where you got to think about it like this. So people misrepresent themselves all the time. For example, you have someone like Taylor Lorenz, who says, "Oh, I'm a journalist. I work for the Washington Post." Yet she is clearly a political operative and a person of ill repute. But she presents herself as a victim in order to garner sympathy and popularity. You have
See, that's histrionic behavior, ladies and gentlemen, just so you're aware. That's histrionic behavior.
then you have and we are going to spill the
And
tea
antisocial, just saying.
now. We are going to spill the tea now, boys, because let me tell you. All right. Then you have the other kind of facade. And that is in something we all know oh so well, the content creator. And I will not absolutely name names. I will not throw anybody under the bus. This is patently truthful observation, folks. And I can tell you this not only from my early content creation career on Twitch to transitioning over to YouTube.
Hail small time republic.
Because Twitch, in so many ways, what it boils down to, for a lot of creators on there, they start out, they're brand new, they randomly go watch different streams. You might even see one in your chat or something. Oh, hey, let's collaborate. Let's partner up. Okay. Then they partner up with you and they maybe get some run themselves. They start to do well. Then all of a sudden, you happen to support them or stop by their chat. Let's say they pass you by even. Well, at that point, sometimes you stop in and you say, "Oh, hello, how's it going, man? I'm proud of your success." And I've seen this happen multiple occasions. The creator said, "Who are you?" That
old ass shit.
That is a prevailing attitude. And then you have the creators that present themselves like, oh, well, I'm all about the audience. And then pretty soon they get successful. Oh, sorry, folks, I can't get to your chat tonight. Yet in the past, they made a point to read all the chats, whether they involved monetary gain or not. Then you have the ones that get to where, oh, well, folks, I'm just going to read super chats. Okay. Then you get to the ones that are like, well, folks, I can only read super chats over $20. Really? And it's funny to me that you forget the core tenet of what a content creator should be about. It's a bond. This is a bond between you and your audience. Your viewers have to hold value for you, because if they don't, you are not going to come across as genuine and you will not have a loyal audience. Yet creators, oftentimes when they get to be successful, will abandon that principle altogether because they are so caught up in their own perceived success, they forget the very core of what made them successful in the first place. It's not what they themselves did. It's the audience that came and turned out for them. And, it's so funny for me to just see time and again how creators forget that. And it's the same thing with the ones with the quote influencers. Oh, you gotta love those. They get sponsorships or they get this or that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Drew. I'm sorry. And now for a word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have that shit on it. Yeah.
But that's the thing. And you know damn well that they don't fucking play Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
not at all, man.
You have a personal conversation if that person's your friend afterward, and they're like, man, fuck Raid Shadow Legends. I didn't play that piece of shit. You know, but the thing is like, you know, it's laughable. They're sitting there hawking products or telling people, hey, if you live your life according to this routine, this will change your life. Just this one step will change your life.
Yeah.
And they don't believe that. They don't believe that for a second.
Right.
They will sell out to it.
Quite a few content creators that were like, you know, exactly what I just said. Fuck Raid Shadow Legends. And then like a year later, they're running fucking ads on their channel. And you're like, wait, what?
Yes. And this is what I'm talking about. You know,
well, see,
because they got a fat 15K check in the mail or some shit.
Well, see,
you know?
The important thing to remember there, though, is whether it's an actual advertisement, like commercial, or whether it's an actual paid promotion on part of the creator. Because when it's just a commercial, we have no control over what shows up on YouTube. Yeah. And not many people realize this, but I think most ad revenue doesn't get paid out unless the entire ad is watched.
Yeah.
So this brings up another form of deception or lying, in my opinion, that they want you guys to make money when you're monetized. And the reason I don't believe that is because I've seen anywhere from 20 minute to hour long commercials on people's videos. They have absolutely nothing to do with anything I've ever been interested in. I'm watching like a paranormal video at like 2:00 in the morning, and all of a sudden it pops up with this like 20-minute ad where it's all like, I'm going to teach you how to build a window garden box. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
I'm going to teach you how to invest in Bitcoin. Like,
So, you know, and you don't get to choose that. You don't get to choose that. You could have like a 4-minute video and then choose to put an ad at the beginning. And if YouTube felt like it, they could put an hour-long advertisement on your shit. So you'd never make any money off of it. Ever. Yeah. You could get like 30 billion views on this video, and you might make like 30 cents because people would be like, okay, I sat through it once.
You know, but
like that was it.
But it's so like, you know, it's funny to me that you know, people really just almost forget where they come from. They go. And, you know, it's the allure of reaching, you know, I'm famous, or I'm, you know, now an influencer because this many people watch my shit every week, you know, so I hold some sway, or I have a blue check next to my name. It's not about that. It's about
Hail Katina Martin. Sorry.
Hail Katina, great to see you.
Don't dunk on culture. We'll dunk on culture if we want to.
But the thing is you know, if you forget where you came from, it's not going to serve you well later. And a lot of times,
and that ties into something that Omega Star actually said in the chat earlier. You have to keep yourself humble.
Mm-hmm. Humility goes a long way.
If you don't have humility, honesty is right out the window next. Because if you're not humble, you're lying about who you are and the accomplishments that you had. Because I don't care who you are, how much money you have, how many subscribers you have, how many people know your name. You're not the greatest person in the world because there's no such thing. So, I mean...
I might know a few people that would disagree with you.
I know they would. I know a lot of people who would disagree with me and be like, how dare you?
Yeah.
That's personal blasphemy, sir.
There's just, you know, like I said, if I would absolutely welcome sponsorships, but you know, I look at it like the old school way, traditionally, that like people in radio did it, you know, because there's a lot of old radio guys that would take sponsorships, but they would only take sponsorships if it's a product that they actually stood behind and used, or a service that they actually used.
That's why I like Steven Crowder.
See, and
He
that's
uses that
actually
shit.
that's an important thing to understand about marketing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
marketing in general is a bunch of fucking lies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Just look at
honest
car
marketing.
commercials, man.
Yeah, honest marketing doesn't sell. Okay, and
Or look at
people know that.
Carvana.
So here's another question: do you think people are too comfortable both lying and being lied to?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
100%.
do you think that perhaps that's contributed in some small way to the
Hail
world
Katina,
that we
by the
live
way.
in?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we talk all the time, Corey, about social engineering and conditioning. People like absolutely right now. If you can sit there and you can give them evidence point after evidence point, show them everything that you have till you're blue in the face of evidence to back up what you're telling them is going on,
Yeah,
and they will still deny it. They will go, I don't want to see, I don't want to know,
Well,
well,
because
Plato, right? The
they
cave.
they will wig out if they break out of that comfort that was built by the lie.
Well, isn't
So
that the same concept as Plato's The Cave, where the truth is the paintings on the wall and nobody ever bothers to step outside of the cave and actually learn the truth?
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. That's
Mhm.
our modern cave is social media,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's,
I
for
turned
lack
that
of a
shit
better
off.
term, the easiest place to lie, and it's the most repulsive thing that we have these days.
Yeah, I will go and turn that shit off. I will go out, go for a walk, enjoy the sun, things like that. Because there's plenty of things, and listen, a lot of times sitting on social media as long as I do, it sucks because then I get already, like, if I'm already not in a good mood, if I'm having a shit day, or if a new crisis happened, whatever, like today, like, Corey, it's just it just compounds it. It just brings me down all day long because I'm sitting there on social media belly aching about it or talking about it, and yeah, it's nice to have people sort of like understand, but at the same time, I know I'm bringing myself down by
Yeah,
sitting there and just you know um just bitching about it instead of like saying, okay, I'm gonna go and even though this is a shit sandwich, I'm gonna set the shit sandwich down. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna decompress. I'm gonna go for a walk or go for a drive, and I'm gonna, you know, um, think on what's the best way that I can look at this in a positive. And you know, um, I sometimes have to remind myself to do that because if you sit on
yeah,
social media too long, you can just drive yourself into a negative mood,
Oh yeah, man, dude.
and you have to just know when to put it down for a while and go out and live in the outside in the real world, and then you can come back and repeat the whole cycle of bitching.
Dude, social media is a bane in our society, man.
it
It
really is.
really is.
And there have actually been psychologically or psychological scientific studies. I know a lot of people think it's a soft science, but we do actually do some science here, people. But
Bullshit.
Then no.
there has been some actual research that's shown since the advent of social media, specifically Facebook, Twitter, and I want to say Instagram probably. There has been a incredibly high increase in rates of depression, anxiety, um, substance use, uh, high risk behaviors, of course. TikTok,
Self-delusion.
thank you, TikTok,
Self-delusion.
for all of your self delusion, and
Tumblr.
yeah, and many things have come into it where people are uh they're forced to lie to themselves about who they are. And this is coming from, and when you're dishonest with yourself, you actually have a higher chance of falling into one of these dark areas, like depression or,
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, suicidal ideation, or things that are hard to deal with. It's easier when you're lying to yourself about how you are instead of dealing with it. It's easier to lie about that. And as a psychologist who studied a lot of counseling back in the day, it's very common for people to not want to attribute the primary problems that they actually have to the issues that they're having.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what would you say that lying to ourselves as human beings is the most prevalent form of lying?
Mm-hmm.
As that's how I feel anyway. So
Yeah. Megastar Production said yes. Social media has bred narcissism, and it really has. There are
highly
a lot of raging
narcissistic.
narcissists.
Yes.
I've seen it not only in our general corner of YouTube. I've seen it in the in Twitter Spaces. I've seen it all over. It has exploded
These
because
e-girls, the
because
epitome of narcissism.
well
A
that
lot
but
of them are, yeah.
but you got to remember too, and I know one of our topics that we could have had was sin. Okay, you think about, talking about it from a religious aspect. One of the seven deadly sins is vanity. Okay,
This is true.
and the epitome of vanity is Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah,
things
it
like
really
that.
is. Yep.
And that is the epitome of vanity.
Yep.
So the people on there, you're walking in sin every time you go and post a TikTok or post Instagram, and there's some people so absorbed in, oh my God, I got to post a selfie at this hour. I got to post a selfie at this hour. Oh, look, I'm standing in front of Taco Bell. I have to post a selfie with Taco Bell in the background. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
fucking stupid. That whole fucking mindset is stupid.
Yeah, well, I
know?
mean, even that trend where people were taking pictures of their food, it's like that's
Yeah.
The foodie
that's
thing,
straight up
it's-
narcissism, dude.
It's
Like,
still a big deal.
Look
And
at I'm taking a picture of my food. And I did that one time when I was out there eating a fucking awesome burger, and it was like one of the best burgers I ever had. I'm like, look at this fucking burger. But
hold
but
on.
the
Bill Hodgson,
Bill
that
Hodgson, yes.
hail, sir. But he makes a very good point. It's validation seekers looking for a fix,
Mhm.
and that's
gotta
what
get
it
that
is.
next hit.
Hail, tiny metal trees. But
Yeah,
and they're addicted to the attention that they get on social
yes.
media, and it comes from the amount of lies that you run into on social media most of the time.
Yeah. I mean,
How much would you of the internet would you say you believe? Honestly, just ballpark percentage.
12.
That's fair.
20 about 20%.
20%. Okay. Yeah, I usually ballpark it around. I would say 30% of the actual information you find on the internet is probably.
Well, I mean, when you live in an
accurate.
era where literally most journalism
Yeah.
is opinion pieces, like
Mhm.
you can't even trust like established news places that have been around for 150 years,
Mhm.
No.
Yeah,
because they're
And
just
well,
so
you,
entwined
well,
with
and
the
the
Well,
important thing
system.
to remember is that there is a
ethics and
chance you could have
integrity
never
don't
trusted them.
ethics and integrity don't oftentimes exist in journalism now, and that's by design, because journalism is sold out to become
Isn't there
essentially
isn't there
an
some kind of
arm
an
of
oath
No,
that these
there's
people
no
take?
no there
journalistic
is
oaths.
no
No.
there is
There's
not.
certain things that people like to say they should do, but there's no such thing as a journalistic oath. That's why
you know
tabloid media is still around. That's why all kinds of stuff like that is still around.
One of the best things I learned um when I was in broadcasting school was, your goal as a broadcaster, especially if you're doing news or something like that, your goal as a broadcaster should be to inform and entertain. And that's what I try to do. That's the core of my show when I try to do United Resistance. And that's why I think so many people are consistent in watching United Resistance, and it's not the numbers. I don't care about the numbers because I care about having the consistency. I see the same names and the same faces in the chat week after week. People are jazzed for the topics. People are there because they're getting informed, but they're also getting entertained and they're enjoying the show. And also, it's not the oversaturation that you see largely on YouTube. People aren't seeing the same faces. They're seeing, new faces and new opinions and new perspectives on that panel. They're not seeing, the same big people all the time. It's people are like, oh, this show could be great. It has a lot of potential. Well, it already is great. It doesn't have to be Friday Night Tights. I didn't start United Resistance to be my Friday Night Tights. It's not. I never thought about it from that aspect. I always thought about it. I want a good show with good guests and good perspectives because I want to inform and entertain people. And I also want to hopefully along the way introduce people to some truths maybe they weren't picking up on before. If I can do that, then I've accomplished what I wanted to every single show, and that's what I set out to do with my content. But I'm not trying to be the next superstar making a lot of money on YouTube talking about pop culture. I don't do my channel about Disney. I don't pop out 1,000 videos about, why Disney sucks because I already know it sucks. I'm not going to sit there and watch it and support it even to, make a video because I don't want to watch and support shit. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to, make a video about it because at that point I'm being disingenuous because I'm going back on on the word that I gave to myself that said I'm not going to support shit. So there it is.
Well, and I think as someone that considers themselves a pretty heavy normie when it comes to all this pop culture stuff, and I'm not trying to dog on anybody, but I used to watch G&G and Nerdrotic and all those guys all the time, every day, but at this point it's the same, it's the same shit all the time. I basically stopped watching it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you boys, but I'm moving on to a very important part of the show, and it's called the viewers vote. So I'm going to drop the 3 topics. We can continue our conversation after I drop these 3 white topics for the chat to vote on. You guys feel free to drop your vote on the topics for next week as well.
Did you just say they're white topics?
These are white topics, meaning that
racist.
They are, yes,
you bigot.
That means they're easy to talk
to. Put the white
They're,
topics out there, bigot.
There it is. All right, it's dropping right now.
You do the black ones first next time. Damn it.
Oh, and there it is. So the poll is: humanity is inherently dumb, manners, and psychic abilities. While you guys vote, we will continue the conversation. So,
I wanted to kind of just respond to what Jeremy said. I still watch a ton of Gary's content and Jeremy, and I like a lot, especially what Jay. Shout out to Jay Drunk 3PO, because I
love Drunk 3PO.
He's helped me out a lot with different things with YouTube and stuff. But and I love Josiah too. But I watch a lot of the different content. But even they, okay, and it's a fair criticism. They can get repetitive.
Yeah.
And that's when I think a lot of people tune out because they're like, oh man, I've seen this before. They've done a similar show or they've done a similar video. I don't want to sit through the same thing rehashed again. And I don't necessarily, I can understand it from both sides because from a creator standpoint, if you happen to be big on numbers or you're bringing in a lot of money, then it's very easy to want to chase that algorithm and stick to what the algorithm says is bringing you in money. Okay. But on the conversely, on the other side of it, the viewer is saying, man, I'm seeing this repetitively. Can you do something different, please? And you have to understand how to navigate that balance and take into account, your viewer feedback, or ask for viewer feedback, because that is so important. I mean,
Yep.
because your viewers are going to tell you what they want to hear about, what they want to see, or if you're doing something journalistic, what they want you to cover.
See, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Gary could have
absolutely.
easily gotten into
Public
that,
says
yeah.
he could have gotten
Absolutely.
into syndicated radio or
Yeah.
something like that if the internet didn't exist.
Yeah,
the guy is very talented.
Yeah,
He is.
small time he
And
is.
we're definitely not taking anything away from their talent. These are talented individuals. Otherwise,
Yeah,
they would not be where they are. They're
Exactly.
talented. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
They're very good at what they do.
The
Just
most
the points that
popular
most
YouTube-
people,
Yeah.
the points that Jeremy and Drew are making right now is more geared towards the fact that eventually you have to move on in your content in order to actually continue to grow, to show
Yep.
that you can contain that
Well,
you can
that's-
continue this momentum outside of your established comfort zones.
Well, that's like
And
if you
I'm
watch the
not
Quarter
saying that I can give these people advice on how to grow, but if they branched out, they would probably be even more successful. So
Well,
that's my 2 cents on it.
The thing is, and I agree with Gary being super talented, because Gary early on was one of my influences as far as just figuring out how to do the YouTube thing. I was very well versed in Twitch, but I didn't know how the YouTube thing worked.
Right.
First channel I watched was actually Geeks and Gamers and Jeremy. And then I discovered Gary and started watching Gary, and I learned a lot just from watching their streams. But see, the thing is, again, even the best YouTuber, God, even PewDiePie has plenty of times fallen into repetition, putting out similar videos one to another sometimes. And and that's the battle that you fight as a content creator, because one of the things that you can't be is repetitive if you want to be entertaining, if you want to hold people's attention. And that's an important thing. Hey, Trina, take care of yourself. Have a good night. And that's one of the things that I've heard in broadcasting school. Is that again, don't be repetitive. Find different things to talk about, even if it's outside your established comfort zone sometimes.
Well, see, and that's why I know I mentioned him before, but that's why I like Steven Crowder so much. I know he's pretty political, but he's always got new skits. He's always making fun of something new. And then, like, even back to the advertising thing, the things that he advertises are things that he uses,
right?
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like water and the food supply thing,
Right. And that's what I would do too. Like, for example, I'm a gamer, but I'm not going to advertise a game I don't play. Now,
Right.
if Dead by Daylight wanted to sponsor me, I damn sure would put a Dead by Daylight ad on my shit and said, yeah, but you should play Dead by Daylight because I play it and I fucking love it. But that's the thing. I'm gonna promote something I enjoy and something that I use. I'm not gonna, promote a game that I think looks like, a wet turd.
Yeah. So I'm going to take this opportunity to say that we closed the white topics poll with manners leading at 60%. So that will be the white topic for their guest next week to choose
I want
from.
the brown topic.
This next is the gray topics. So here we go with the gray topics. We have defining humanity, morality, and curse words. So
the curse words is a bad topic for me.
Curse words.
That's why it's in parentheses, because it's a gray topic and people either have a problem with it or they don't. So that's why it's a fun way to do it. And people are already voting on that. We see that. So
Are they curse words? Because I didn't put a
Ooh.
curse on you.
Yeah, it's not like
It's
I'm
all
cursing
tied
somebody.
up.
I'm just,
See, and maybe if that's the topic, we'll get into that kind of stuff next week, because see, that kind of swayed it a little bit towards curse words. Because everybody
wants to hear me
knows.
curse.
Well, I'll just throw this out there. Everybody knows that I love to fucking cuss. And I mean, I like, wait until my song drops on Friday. You'll hear how much I like to cuss. And it's not a joke song. It's called The Past. That's
Corey,
the name of the song. And I would
you
curse
can
a
rap
lot.
battle John Cena.
Nah.
Right.
I like to be able to see my opponents when I'm rapping.
Well, and
shock on their face.
Corey and I are brothers, so I mean, he knows, like, when I'm
if
I'm not on a camera like this, every other word out of my mouth is
all right. Our dad was an old hippie Navy man. He was like Jewish or whatever they were, Sabbatarian, close enough to Jew. I don't know. But so, like, that guy taught us every curse word that we ever knew in ways that, like, I didn't even know they were curse words. That's one of the reasons I released, like, my favorite curse words list back in the day, is because I'm all like, yeah, let's do that, because this is fun.
I want that T-shirt that says "I say fuck a lot." You know.
Yeah, dude, that's totally for me.
You know, God, and I know. Listen, I get people in my chat. You know, oh God, there's been times I've said shit on the Bounding into Comic streams when we've had Father Miller in the chat. I'm like, oh God,
dude,
I'm probably
so
going to
bad.
hell after I say that.
I
you
am
know,
so bad.
But you know, but that's the thing. You know, I don't hold back. I'm just myself, because I just put it all out there. You know, I don't want to be anything but Drew when I come on and I'm on camera.
You don't want to lie to your audience.
You know, I'm the same as I always am. You know, so, like, for example, I met Sherry in person. I'd be like, "Damn, Sherry, you're hot as fuck." But you know, I'm glad.
And then she would stab you. No,
I'm glad that we're friends. You know,
creepy son of a bitch.
No, I would tell her straight up. I'd be like, "Sherry, you're hot as fuck," but I'm glad we're friends. You know, but that's the thing.
Her name is Stabby Sherry for a reason.
She's gonna stab you, bro.
but you know, but that's my point. You know, I'm gonna be real with my friends. You know, so I mean, I'll get you with a funny comment or just, you know, throw something flamboyant out there, but you know, I'm gonna be real with you. You know, and that's like that's just the way I roll.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and close this poll out, because I'm going to call a mercy rule on those other two and just say it's going to be curse words for the gray topic next week.
Curse words.
Thank you. Wonderful chat. And now we're, of course, going to the dark.
But I will say this though about Sherry. Sherry's been one of the most loyal and supportive friends that I've made in this community. I mean, she's been absolutely awesome to me, and so many of these people in this chat have been, because I see the same names that pop on United Resistance and watch on Tuesdays, and man, you know, this is the best audience on YouTube, best chat on YouTube, because because they're loyal as fuck.
They are
loyal as fuck. You know, and this is the type of audience you want. This is the type of audience that makes you happy to click that button to go live, because you always know they got you and you got them. And
so speaking of pressing buttons, here's the black topics. I pushed that button. What's up? Here it comes. Boom.
Hey, if anybody does want to click that buy me a pizza link, I am kind of hungry for pizza. No lie.
Yeah, get your pizza, man. $5 hot and ready from Little Caesars.
Dude, delivery is so expensive these days, man.
Yeah, but you know. So the dark topics for next week are going to be hate and indifference, violence, and acceptance versus tolerance. So make sure you cast your vote on those, because that can be an interesting discussion regardless of which of those three show up.
Acceptance versus tolerance.
Oh, I can go off on that one.
I will tolerate you.
For money. If you pay me, I'll tolerate you. And while you guys vote on that, I'm actually going to go ahead and see if I can give you a preview. I need to stop sharing this.
Are you gonna? Is it preview of titties?
No, it will be a
At least he
preview of
didn't
the
have his
rap
DMs
song
like
that
Quarter Black that one time.
Whoa, yeah, no shit.
Oh man, but yeah, I've said on the curse word side though. I've made some boo boos, not realizing that there's like a few like very Christian or Catholic people in the audience, and I'm just rolling off talking about like, man, I like some hot girl on girl action, or I'm just like something, and I'm like, oh, oops.
So I'm gonna drop the volume on this a little bit. This is the song that I wrote basically in 2 days. I've spent a total of probably 4 hours on this song. So just let me know if it's too loud. But here we go.
It's too loud.
Never been a thug, but I know what it's like to be out on those streets, risking your life, cause I've been there, done that. I ain't ever going back. All the things I've done would give you a heart attack. I can't deny I got blood on my hands, cause the places I've been, you bleed just to stand. Facing down the gallows, I knew I had to get out before I had my motherfucking brains blown out. But some fucking how I managed to survive, living with the scars of those that fucking died. I've been hanged and stabbed and fucking shot at, been beat down and even had my kicks jacked. Had to steal, not to starve, wasn't gonna make it far, so I jumped in my car and left it all behind.
And then I keep that flow going for the whole 2 minutes. So.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's good.
nice,
Yeah.
dude. I like
Hell
it.
yeah.
I like it. I can dig that. When I
Thank
worked
you.
at a toy store, I learned to say fire truck.
Yeah, tiny metal trees.
When I was a boy and I saw a pickup truck, I said fuck truck.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready to close out. So make sure you vote on this last topic, whether it's going to be hate and indifference, violence, or looking like acceptance versus tolerance. So in the meantime, gentlemen, go ahead and pitch what you got coming up.
I got work tomorrow.
No, yeah, I got, let's see. I got nothing. I got nothing tomorrow. I got a whole lot of probably doing laundry, doing some cleaning, fun times. So, yeah, I'm going to be super domesticated tomorrow. And the fact that we had a heat index over 100 degrees today here.
Oof.
So, yeah, I'm not going the fuck outside tomorrow.
Jeez. Yeah, what I'll probably end up doing is continue teaching my son to ride his bike. So
Yeah.
I'm having a good time with that. He's almost done with the training wheels.
So if you want to on Tuesday, come by my channel, 6:45 or 6:50 p.m. We always start, and that's Eastern Standard Time. We have United Resistance, which we talk about politics and current events. We don't hold back. We just say whatever the hell we want. And if Mama Susan eventually comes for us, she's going to come for us.
we can all see you typing that shit, right?
I know, that's why. Because I'd probably get in trouble if I actually pushed enter.
Fuck
But
you,
since
man.
I'm sharing it, I'm all like, hey, check this out. Sorry.
So catch United Resistance on Tuesdays. Of course, you can see me on all the Dick's Division shows. I'm on Yelling at Parked Cars. I'm on Thursday Night Throwdown, and don't forget, coming up this coming week on Thursday, not tomorrow, but this coming week, next week, I should say, is Pegasus Actual will be back because Brahma will be back in town, and then we can finally cover the series finale of BSG, and we'll move on from there. But yeah, that will be fun, so don't miss Pegasus Actual when that comes back. And that's about it. And I'm started writing for Bounding again, guys. So keep an eye out for my Bounding into Comics articles when they come out, and so on and so forth. But,
one of the few journalistic outlets out there that actually is worth a damn.
But yeah, much love to Katina Martin. Much love, Small Time Republic, Shawnee Step, Sir Talks a Lot, Omega Star Productions, the lovely Sherry. Of course, Trino, Lasso of Truth, and so many others I see in the chat that were
Tiny Metal
awesome.
Trees guy is awesome.
Sean Estep, Tiny Metal Trees,
Or Chick.
Bill Hogston.
I don't know.
All the folks that joined us tonight. So awesome of you to support Corey and keep supporting Corey because he is a kick-ass creator on the rise.
He's a
And I wanna-
kick-ass dude. My
I
little
want to
brother's
see him.
badass.
I want to see
He's
him
biased.
do well.
He's
I am
biased.
biased. Yes, very
I want to
biased.
see. I want to see him do well.
I do want to see myself do well as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird to say. But anyway, so we're going to call it, guys. Thank you all for joining. I had a wonderful time. Make sure you hit that like button, and I'll try to do my best to shill. I will not be on Thursday Night Throwdown tomorrow. Other things have come up. So catch my release of that song that you just previewed right here on Dark Philosophy Friday on the Corey Music channel and on my new Bandcamp site, where all my music that I deem sellable is for sale. That one will be there because it's a good song. So in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you with this moral conundrum.
Friends, I have killed one of God's most innocent and intelligent creatures.